Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Sam's Doing Stuff. And today we're going to talk about the best and worst feature of the Kubota Bx. And it's both the same thing. Let's get started. All right, the Kubota Bx. I've had this BX 2380 for 5 years now. She's all paid for and she's mine, all right? All the pluses and the minuses. Let's talk about the minus right off the bat. This right here. You just saw when I took this off, it just started spewing hydraulic oil. Jeez. And it happens, you know? Is it something that you can fix? I don't know. I've heard of a guy's been taking them back to the dealership and they switch them out to 4 connectors, or they replace the whole thing again and then it starts leaking again. I've had it leak, and it's just so happens that this time when I went to do this video, it happened to just spew. It stops though. It stops leaking and then it starts leaking again sometimes. You got to check your UDT2 every once in a while and make sure it's topped off, because I don't know. So there's that. Then there's the loader. Well, specifically the kickstand for the loader. This thing is the easiest thing in the world to use, and it's also the easiest thing in the world to screw up. And I've done it several times. Now, let's talk about how I just took the loader off, okay? And we'll ignore the fact that it spewed oil all over. But so when you go to take your loader off, you're gonna pull your tractor into a very level, flat spot. That's very important because it's so easy to get this thing crooked and jack it all up if you're not on a level, smooth area. So you're on a level, smooth area, you're gonna raise the loader up high enough that you can tip the bucket all the way down. That's going to release the kickstand, at least, you know, get it to a point of where you can release it with the lever. So you then take the lever and you release the kickstand fully. That way when you tip the bucket out, the kickstand's gonna come out and it's gonna engage into this position right here. Now, the most important part of this, in my opinion, and this is why I'm in the garage right now because I have to fix this, is when you lower your bucket down to take the pressure off of your loader and get the front tires off the ground, you've got to have this front bucket tipped down almost all the way, just enough so the front end of the bucket is what's lifting your tractor off the ground. Do not put the pressure on this chintzy, thin, cheap kickstand, because if you put the pressure from the tractor on that kickstand, it'll bend it, and I've done it, okay? I've bent it and I've broken that bolt over there, which is why it's in the garage. I need to weld that back on, but it's not a very sturdy piece of metal. So put the pressure on the bucket, then rock it back slowly. And what I usually do is I use the curl function of the bucket. I curl the bucket back until that kickstand hits, and then the loader arms will come out of the cradles. And this is the most important part. You'll see when I go to put this loader back on, those have to line up when you go to put this back on. So once the loader arms come out of the cradles, you know that the entirety of this loader is balanced on the kickstand and on the bucket, and you're ready to take it off and spew oil all over the floor. So this right here, this is that bolt I'm telling you about. This bolt actuates the kickstand when you curl the bucket down so you can put it away, and I'll show you that in a second. But it's just flimsy. And this is why I encourage people to learn how to weld, because I am just a very novice welder. And this is the whole reason that I decided I wanted to learn to weld, because this sucker needs to be tacked back into place so I can use that function on the kickstand. Okay, that is finally fixed. It's been over a year since I've been able to use this function on this loader because I just wasn't confident enough with my welding skills. Now that I am, I got that fixed. So let's put the loader back on. Now I have a third function kit here. I'm gonna connect that first. Then of course we're gonna connect this wonderfulness over here so we can stop spewing oil all over the place. Oh yeah, squirting out. All right. All right, let's get this thing back on. Now this next step is the most important part. These cradles have to line up. Both sides perfectly straight. Come right in. And you can actually drive into it a little bit if they're off a little bit, but make sure they're both in those cradles. Now, you can use the joystick forward and back, which is your raise and lower of your loader, to push those arms into the cradles. It'll adjust them a little bit if they're off. Then what you want to do is you want to start tipping your bucket out so that those loader arms sit into the cradle. And just do it a little at a time. Make sure they're both perfect. And when they are, go ahead and tilt that bucket all the way down so your front wheels come off. There you go. Now notice I'm not putting any pressure on that kickstand. You want to use the tilt function to get your wheels off the ground. Now we're gonna go ahead and lock our arms back. And now don't tilt it out, because if you tilt it out, it's gonna come down on that kickstand. Lift your loader all the way up, nice and gently, slow and easy. And there you go. Now you're not putting undue pressure on that flimsy kickstand. You get that up off the ground. You're gonna tilt it back. Oh, something went wrong. What happened there? I broke the other weld. How about that? That's what I'm talking about. Come here. So you saw I did that perfectly. And look at this. It just broke the other weld. This is what I'm talking about. This is the worst part of the Kubota Bx. This whole loader system, from the quick attach hydraulics all the way down to this flimsy, cheap kickstand. So now, at least I know how to weld. I've got to weld this piece back on. Oh my gosh. Okay, I got that other bolt welded on again. Now, I'll tell you what, there's your silver lining here, you know? Think about how good this actually is, because if I had taken this to somebody to have it welded and they welded the other one and fixed it, and then it came back and then this one broke and I'd have to take it back again. First of all, I don't want to even have to tell you how much it costs to have somebody else weld something. And then you've got all the time and transportation. It's such a good idea to learn how to weld. So anyway, I'm looking at this now, and it looks to me like those bolts need to be adjusted, and I'm gonna take it nice and slow so I don't go breaking anything anymore on this cheap, flimsy kickstand. Okay, so after several welds, re-welds, adjustments, those bolts have to be exactly perfect or this whole system doesn't work. That's another thing. It just should work. Anyway, it does now work. Well, kinda. Might have to bend something a little bit. Be right back. There we go. So yeah, as I stand here slipping around in hydraulic fluid, and I got it back to where it's supposed to be, or to where it works at least. My favorite and least favorite part of this tractor is this loader. It comes on and off very quickly and very easily, and everything is very convenient if it is done to perfection. And don't even get me started if you get that thing crooked. I've had it to where one loader arm is sitting in the cradle and the other one is all gallywonkus. Oh my gosh, cattywonkus, I don't know, my parents always said gallywonkus. You say what you want to say. Anyway, I got it back. So I'm happy I can now use that function again. Learn to weld. It's frustrating sometimes, but it's a good skill to have. So now I want to talk to my subscribers about what's going on. Well, let's look outside. So yeah, we're back from vacation and this is what we're dealing with. It's just miserable. I guess we should have stayed longer because the weather hasn't turned yet. It's still miserable out there. I've got so much stuff I want to do. Oh my goodness, there's just everything. We did have a very big rain overnight. Actually, it was in the morning. During our flight back, I came back and a lot of stuff had floated. So I know that that water overcame that 15-inch pipe and went out over the fields, which is not what I want. So that confirms that I definitely want to use 24-inch pipe. So anyway, all of this stuff is coming up. I really appreciate you sticking around and tagging along. I'm actually really glad I had time in the rain to get this done. So I hope you liked it. I hope somebody that's thinking about buying a Kubota Bx or has a Kubota Bx can see this and, you know, learn a thing or two on taking that loader on and off, and it'll help you with your decision making if you're deciding on whether you want to buy a tractor or not. Yeah, I bought a zero-turn mower just so I don't have to do that anymore, take that loader on and off, just leave it on, you know. So anyway, like I said, I appreciate you stopping by, and I will see you next time when I am doing more stuff, and I'm probably going to be in a better mood. See you then.